Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and lush forest, there lived a young man named Juma. Juma was known throughout the village for his charm and good looks, but he was also known for his reckless ways. He spent his days wandering aimlessly, never taking life seriously, and his nights were filled with festivities and the company of many young women. One evening, under the pale light of the moon, Juma met a beautiful young woman named Amina. They spent time together, and soon Amina found herself with child. When she informed Juma of the news, hoping he would take responsibility, Juma panicked. He was not ready to settle down, nor did he want to be tied to one woman. So, under the cover of darkness, he fled the village, leaving Amina alone to bear the weight of his actions. Amina was heartbroken, but she was strong. She gave birth to a beautiful baby girl whom she named Asida. Amina raised Asida with love and care, teaching her the values of honesty, hard work, and respect. Asida grew into a graceful and wise young woman, admired by everyone in the village. Years passed, and Juma's life of wandering took him far from his village. He traveled through many lands, but as he grew older, the weight of his past mistakes began to press on him. His once charming looks faded, and the thrill of adventure lost its appeal. Meanwhile, Asida has now grown into a very beautiful woman. Amina feared that what happened to her getting pregnant and not having a responsible man to look after them might happen to her daughter Asida. Amina decided to send her daughter Asida away from the village to go to a bigger town to live with his only brother. He has been away from the village for almost 30 years. Asida packed her things and was only given the address of her uncle. It took Asida a day long for her to finally get to the town of his uncle. Her uncle was happy meeting her niece for the first time. Asida started helping her uncle in his retail business. Her uncle was a very rich businessman in this town. Men that came to do business while her uncle were mesmerized how Asida carried herself with dignity and pure courage. In a very short while, Asida's uncle fell very sick and all efforts to heal him proved futile. One night, she heard a knock on the door. She opened the door, and here was Juma. Juma told her that he can heal her uncle. They agreed that Juma would be greatly rewarded of anything he requests if he is successful. Juma administered some herbs to Asida's uncle. In only about 4 weeks, Asida's uncle was now well. Juma one day showed up at Asida's uncle's house. "I have come for my reward." "What do you want, my brother?" "I have gold and business, and can give you half of them if you wish," replied Asida's uncle. "No, I am not here for those things. I want Asida to be my wife," said Juma. Juma was mesmerized by Asida's beauty and wisdom. No words from Asida's uncle or elders of the town could convince Juma to change his decision. Asida's uncle became very sad and didn't want to honor that request. But Asida calmed her uncle. She was ready to marry this old man called Juma to protect the integrity of her uncle. When Amina heard of the news, she cried many days, but there was little she could do. She has to travel that same day to go and witness the wedding. But the journey was long and frustrating. The time for the wedding has started and she was just half the journey. When she finally got there, it was night, but luckily for her the celebration has traveled long even into the night. Amina approached the newlyweds. She was frail but had a presence that commanded respect. She looked deeply into Juma's eyes, and in that moment, he recognized her. His heart sank as he realized the truth of what he had done all those years ago. He had abandoned this woman, and now he had unknowingly married his own daughter. Amina spoke, her voice steady and strong. "Juma, do you not recognize the woman you left behind? The daughter you abandoned?" Juma's face paled as he looked at Asida, who stood in shock, trying to comprehend what her mother was saying. The truth hung in the air like a heavy cloud. Amina continued, "You have married your own daughter, Juma. You fled from your responsibilities, but the past always finds a way to catch up with you. Juma fell to his knees, overwhelmed with shame and guilt. He begged for forgiveness from both Amina and Asida, but the damage had been done. The town folks, who had once celebrated, now whispered in disbelief and disgust. Now Juma was left alone, a broken man, haunted by the consequences of his actions. He spent the rest of his days wandering the town, a shadow of the man he once was, a reminder to all that one cannot escape the responsibilities of their actions.